right, I'm live, and this is episode 2 of Face2Face Conversations with Radiant Women, brought to you by In Your Face Skincare. So thank you for coming. I just happen to have at my fingertips so many amazing women who are so knowledgeable in the area of health and skincare and beauty, whether they're actresses like we talked to last week, Miss Julie Michaels, Emmy award-winning producer, stunt choreographer, actress from Roadhouse, and she's just in front of the lights all the time and has to know a lot about skincare. And she also talked a lot about life and courage and attitude and how that balances out. So that was, if you haven't seen that, that was 2 weeks ago on my feed. This week, hey guys, we're going to be talking to Tara Lambert Kalajian. She was actually one of my test subjects on a couple of our products because she's a professional nutritionist. She's had her company for years. She had her own practice in upstate New York in Ithaca. Now she primarily works virtually through her studio in Manhattan. But today, hi Christy, today we are super lucky to be able to chat with her. And if you have any questions, if you're watching this live, I always welcome that, as does she, because health, beauty, it's very personal. You know, there are certain maxims of which we all can live by, and that makes sense for most of us, but it also is a very personal thing, which is why I really am enjoying talking to women and getting what their take is, what their journey is. But at the end of the day, we all want to be healthy. We want to live long, and we want to look lovely doing it. So, hi Trisha Cood, hey. So she should be coming on shortly. Tara has, hey Joanne. Tara for a while was in South America, and she started her own juice bar there because she couldn't find food that was healthy and pure enough for her. So her entrepreneurial spirit actually just had her start her own cafe. And that's a little bit of how I started my skin company, my skincare company, my skin company. I sell you skin. Is that I couldn't find formulas that had the high power effectiveness that I wanted. And let's see, here she comes. Let's get that. There we go. Here she comes. So that's why I started my own skincare company, because I wanted things that I knew I could practically eat, but that were actually going to add that long-term moisture to my skin. And I was just talking about Tara and how you couldn't find what you wanted when you were in South America, and you started your own juice bar company because that was the way you were able to get the density of health into your system. You just started your own, you created your own cafe. And I said, that's how I created my own skincare company. Necessity.
That's how all things start, right? We want to solve our own problems. So create it.
That's it. We're solving problems. That's actually such a great way to narrow it down, is like really embrace problems, because that's really when some of your most productive decisions will happen. They'll happen from some problem that you're trying to solve. And if you can't solve it, you know someone. That's what's so great about social media. You know, if you've got some great idea, don't just think, well, I mean, I can't ever do this. I don't have the money. I don't have the connections. But your phone has all of that, and there's going to be someone there that can help you with that. You look so lovely. Welcome, Tara. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. This is going to be fun.
Right. I mean, this is we've already got some great ladies popping aboard here. We've got Gwen, we've got Joanne. In you know, I mean, I could read a bit of your journey, but you tell it so often. You tell it so well. But you started, you started being a nutritionist, but was always going through your own personal journey of bettering your own health, not just being complacent with an okay health, but you really wanted to take it to like full, stellar, clean health, right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, I joke so often that I'm just so completely selfish because, like, we talked about solving problems, right? So my entire career and my entire journey has been about solving my own problems. And in doing so, I've discovered just incredible methods of healing that I wouldn't have been motivated to find had I not been so dedicated to bringing my own health to the next level and to solving and healing my body and solving my problems. I'm relentless. I never stop. I just research and I try everything, and a lot of things work and a lot of things don't work, but I try everything that I can get my hands on. And when it works, then I'm able to incorporate that and bring that into my practice and use it for my clients. And then it helps them to get to their next level of health, which is really what it's all about. So my selfishness is really boils down to helping others, which is
Completely
motivation. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna plunk out some things that I know that I've seen you do and that I've seen you glow from them. Ozone. Let's talk about ozone. What is ozone and why do people need it and why does it work?
So ozone, the first thing people think of when they think of ozone, they think of the ozone layer, and they think of it being poison. They think of it being bad for us and toxic because of the ozone layer, right? And it's supposed to be bad for us, but that's just not the case. We're talking about two completely different things when we're talking about ozone for healing. So ozone for healing is basically just like oxygen on steroids. It's it's a molecule, and it's made up of 3 oxygen atoms. So usually oxygen has the molecule has 2 oxygen atoms, but ozone has 3. And oxygen heals. I mean, it heals your cells, and it's also antimicrobial. So that means that it kills pathogens. So it kills bacteria, it kills viruses, it kills parasites, it kills yeast and fungus. So it's so good for our skin, since we're particularly focusing on skin today, because if you're acne prone, ozone kills bacteria, or, somebody fungal issue, you're looking for that jar of ozone. We'll both plug it at the same time.
This is Tara's ozone, and all it is olive oil, which is my most favorite magical oil, infused, like chemically, surgically infused with raw, fantastic ozone. Smells a little weird, but that's the ozone. It smells like an ocean.
Yeah, ozone is created during a thunderstorm. So a lot of times people think it smells like the ocean because it's the same. When there's a thunderstorm and there's a lightning strike, when the lightning hits the air, it breaks apart the molecules in the air and it releases ozone. And that is the smell of ozone. So in this little jar, it's literally just, like you said, olive oil and ozone, which is oxygen. It's medical grade ozone that's been infused into the olive oil just as a carrier. And so you being Italian, you love your olive oil. So it's just like, and even the olive oil doesn't have any of the did I say it right? Comedogenic,
yep, clogging, yep, doesn't
clog. And this is because it's been medically infused, it actually changes the concentration of the olive oil. So you just put ozone on your face and it brings oxygen to the surface of your skin, which is what your cream does too. When you get that flush, you put cream on and you get this nice, beautiful pink flush.
Yes.
Everything happens when you put ozone on your face is you get that flush, the pink flush, and that is fresh circulation, is blood flow coming to the surface of the skin and then interacting with oxygen.
So talk about that, because I do want women to know sometimes they get nervous, like when you put something on and it creates some sort of reaction. what's the difference between the bad reaction and actually a skin product doing something that's kind of like a spa quality? Because, you know, as an actress that I've been, I've had to do, not had to, but you take sometimes a little extra care of your skin, and probably just because having lived in Hollywood my whole life, you hear about stuff, and if she's doing it, then you want to try it. And so those $200 and $300 facials, you're feeling stuff going on, and you want to, because you're paying $300. You want that enzyme to do something. You want that ozone, that oxygen, that gadget. You want it to create a reaction, but it's going to dissipate, whether it's an hour, whether it's a day. Talk about that.
Well, that's exactly what you just said. That's exactly right, is it's going to dissipate. So when you said, like, what's the different reaction? Well, if you get a professional facial, like you just said, I mean, I get so pink and so red that the estheticians actually check in on me. They're like, are you okay? I'm like, oh, is it because my skin's red? Like I just turn so red. Wow. And it's my body's reaction. And
your skin is flawless. Like, people,
well,
you see this girl in person, she has this, it's like China porcelain. But you're doing things like the treatments that you're doing, you know, I've seen you after you've done like a hyperbaric ozone chamber. I've seen you after you know, we both did that vampire facial thing, you know, and you get beat up. But why does your body, like, how does the collagen restimulate after that beat up?
Yes, it depends on what you're doing. So if you're putting your cream on, or if you're putting my ozone oil on and you flush, that's just fresh blood supply. So it's literally just like oxygenated blood flow, flushing to the surface of your skin. And that's great because it's going to flush away the toxins. It just cleans up the toxins from your skin. And then it's feeding your skin, because, like you always say, food for your face, which I love, because it is your blood that's carrying the nutrients. It's going to feed your skin. And so if you turn pink when you put something on, that's a really good sign, because you're going to be feeding your face, you're going to be carrying toxins, and you're going to be giving it a fresh supply of oxygen, which is what your skin needs to heal. And then as far as collagen is concerned, the difference is, you know, you can do things at home and you can do things professionally, where you're inducing little bits of damage to your skin. Right. Because the way that the body rebuilds the skin, or the way that the body heals the damage, is by producing collagen and elastin. And so, like, our bodies are made of the protein in our body is made of about 80 to 90% collagen. So it's like the scaffolding of our bodies. It's the scaffolding of our skin. And so as we age, every year we're losing a percent. I forget what the percent is, but we're losing a percent of collagen every single year as we're aging. And so I know you talk about your age, that you're free to say it. I'm 46. I'm turning 47 this year. And it's like 55, 46. We see the aging happening. And yeah, I'm like trying to do everything possible to not stop it, but slow it down. So collagen is important, and you can do it both, you know, through skin treatments. I got all kinds of gadgets here, but then you also, you know, I'm a nutritionist, so you have to handle it from the inside out too.
Well, you've got me salivating already. You picked up the gadgets, and I'm like, oh, let's move on to some gadgets here. Give me a gadget, right? Here comes women are like, oh, the gadgets.
Because, you know, we can spend a bunch of money on professional treatments, and I do get professional treatments. My favorite is microneedling. You know that, like the vampire facials. I love those. But then there's a ton of stuff you can do at home. I mean, I'll start with the gua sha.
The gua sha. Tell us why the gua sha works well. I mean, you if anyone knows about the adrenal system, the lymphatic system of the whole body, the skin just being one part of an entire system.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do with this little stone. I know that when I first heard about gua sha, I was like, whatever, it's a stone, you know, big deal. But then I had a lymphatic massage, a facial. And the difference in my face was incredible. And she used her hands for everything. And you can massage your hands. You don't always, with your hands, you don't just have to use a stone. But then I decided to use a stone actually because of my client slash friend Cindy had such amazing results. She inspired me to use it. And so it's a massage technique that you drain the lymph. And so you can sculpt your face if that's what you're looking for. Now for me, I tend to have a lot of lymph build up under my eyes. I'll wake up with a very puffy face. So you just drain it down. You've got all these lymph nodes in your neck and all around your face. And the lymph is just underneath the surface of your skin, just so you don't want to press hard. And it's filled with fluid. And when this fluid backs up, we get bags under our eyes, we puff up, we just get that like a puffy face. And depending on how bad it is, it can just stay with you for the whole day. So this basically allows, you can just press it. It's like nice and cool.
As you're doing that, I'm feeling it. The coldness.
Feels so good. And then as you massage, you're draining the lymph, but you're also breaking up fascia. And fascia is connective tissue, which is made of collagen. And so, but you're breaking up the fascia, and as we age, we're using our face and we have the same expressions all the time, and that fascia just tightens up, and because it's losing elasticity as we age, and it's losing its collagen as we age, and then our face kind of takes on the expressions that we're making all the time, and it's not always flattering. And so the tool will break up the fascia in our, which is the connective tissue. It's everywhere. It's in our muscles, and then your face relaxes.
Right. I mean, we've experienced it with getting body massage, right? Like, with what goes on with our neck, and tension builds, then toxins build where the tension is, and then that feeds into other parts of your body, and it can add to thyroid problem or kidney or liver, like toxins building up from muscles from injuries. It's all interconnected, and so it makes sense to me when I first learned about gua sha tools and jade rollers years back that, this makes sense, and I'm a big facial tapper. I'm so good at that, because it reminds me of when my grandmother would be cooking in the kitchen, and the way she would roll on the meats or the dough, and she had just these brilliant hands that just worked so effortlessly with food. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what the professional facialists, when you go and they're doing that. And I thought, you've got to go to school to learn that. I'm like, I know, I've been to the school. It's called My Grandmother's Kitchen. And you can feel it just doing that. Yeah. But this it does.
And even just massaging, like taking your fingers and just I'm this area of the face, it's like the jowls that we suffer from as we age. Yeah. And you literally take your fingers and massage it. But you want to, all this stuff, by the way,
and it gives your arm a good stretch too.
What?
It gives your arm a good stretch too, and your neck. Now I have to do the other side. Hold on.
It on dry skin. We're doing this on dry skin just to show. But you don't want to massage your face or use the tool unless you have jojoba oil on, or you can put your oil on and actually mix these two together.
Yes.
In your
and
face.
It helps to infuse it into the skin too. That's right. You can use serum in a cream or a serum in an oil, or so it's helping to get it in. So yes, that tool, literally, I've seen results. I've seen it on other women, and I love that you too, in your professional arena of actual, as a nutritionist, are now starting to see what this tool does in the world of beauty.
I tell all my clients about this. I mean, I've got a program which is specifically about detoxing and repairing. And this is literally part of my program. So
oh my gosh. They're on the website right now. The callers are taking calls for the gua sha in your face skincare.com. You know, if you've already got the large jar, great. If you want to start out, you can use our mini. You get the mini cream to go with it.
Oh, you know what I did this morning?
But
Put your moisturizer.
The chlorophyll face wash.
And I used it to massage my face. So instead of putting the cream on, or instead of putting like an oil, because I didn't want to put a cream or an oil on because I was taking a shower, and I didn't want to waste. I'm like, I'm not going to put this precious cream on my face and then go wash it.
Right.
So I actually used your moisturizing wash as the moisturizer.
It gives it the slip. You need a slip, they call it. Yep. And that moisturizing wash has sea algae. It's got algae in it, and it has that nice slip to it.
Yes. Yeah. It does.
See, I love hearing. I'm always like, I love getting notes of how the different ways women use the products, you know?
Yeah. And then I'm ready to get in the shower. Like, I massage my face and then I just leave it on.
Yeah.
And I put the exfoliating, the cleanse, I'll like mix it on there, and then I just leave it on. I mean, talk about getting a flush and having like the tingly sensations. Yes. And I just go about my business until I jump in the shower and wash it off.
So smart, right? Because the ingredients in that, it gives the cleansers have nutrients in it, right? And so it's sort of like, why put it on and quick take it off when it actually can help to soften and loosen the dead skin cells. You know, just giving it that little extra time, it only benefits your skin more in the natural exfoliation process.
Right.
Let's see, wait, someone said,
you just tell me.
There's all doing your face cream together. I have both, and I'm going to do that. Oh, excellent, Trisha. Yes, do it.
I mean, that's something that you and I discovered a few years ago, I guess 2 years ago, that mixing our two products was like magic.
Was a 1-2 bam.
They're not similar in any way, shape, or form, but when you put them together, it's just like magic.
Completely. Not to mention, I use your ozone oil for like any kind of girly problem down there. I'm just going to say it's like better than any over-the-counter girly problem cream. That ozone cream, bam.
True. It's true. All the girly works.
Yeah. Like you said,
it's antimicrobial, so it kills whatever bacteria, yeast, you know, whatever's going on.
Yeah.
It's instant. It just zaps it dead.
So now tell us a few ingredients that we need to be on the lookout for when we're, pretend this is a product. I'm not, I've been traveling, so I don't have all of my skincare products, but I do have yogurt. This yogurt is standing in for a face cream product. So if we're reading labels, what ingredients should we shy away from in our skincare products?
So I could talk about this endlessly.
I know you could go down deep, but in the big scheme, like what about petroleums or Vaselines or?
Oh yeah, I mean, so there's like you know how in food they have like the dirty dozen, and it's the same thing in skincare. Like you got your dirty dozen or your dirty 15 really. And there's some that we all hear about a lot, like parabens and phthalates and plastics and petroleum, because petroleum products are made from petroleum. You don't want to be putting that on your face.
Right.
There's a couple that people, I don't think that they hear about very often, and they might not know. Like you might read it and think it's good for you. So one is like, scents and fragrances, and so the natural scent. When you open this up, it smells like a flower or something in nature, and so that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the skincare products where they put fragrance as they're listed, fragrance as an ingredient, and you open it up and it smells like perfume. And most of the time people want that because they want their products to smell good, or they think that, oh, what's the problem with fragrance? And the problem is that fragrance is made out of little proteins, and these little proteins need to be filtered by your liver. And I'm going to throw a word out here that I doubt anybody has heard. Big word coming up. Dehydrogenase enzyme system is just an enzyme system that's predominantly in your liver that has to break down fragrances, because fragrances are made of, another word coming up, fragrances are made of something called aldehydes. And you've heard of formaldehyde?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so an aldehyde, I've heard of it, is like, it's a gas. It's more complicated than that, but it's like a gas. Fragrance is a scent that's like a gas. And then your liver has to break that down, but it actually can damage this enzyme system. And then when that enzyme system gets damaged, then you can, if it was like happening enough, become chemically sensitive, where you can't walk down the aisle of the cleaning products, you know, in the grocery store, you get a headache. It's because that system is damaged and it isn't working properly. And so one of the things that we definitely want to avoid in our skincare products is fragrances, artificial fragrances. So that's one. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So another one that people generally think is good is retinol palmitate. And you may not, you'd be like, what is that? It's vitamin A, but it's not vitamin A that you get from like food. It's a synthetic vitamin A. So it's made in a laboratory. And it's called retinol palmitate. And it is, what happens is that if you put it on your skin and then you go out and you're into sunlight, there's studies that show that it causes cancer. And they put it in sunscreens. It's insane. So you're putting a sunscreen on and it will have retinol palmitate in it. And it actually is shown that will produce cancer in the skin cells because it alters the DNA of the skin. And we don't want that. It alters gene expression, and altering gene expression is not a good thing. It means that you're changing it from what it should be into something that it shouldn't be.
Right.
And so see that on a label, and of course companies are going to be like, this is good for you, but it's not.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Tara, you know, as someone who has their own skincare line and who's been starting with, you know, basic products that people need, you know, exfoliators, and I've always been a big fruit enzyme person. And the pressure to carry a retinol product is tough because there's big bang in that, like people want that. But what I'm seeing in the last, well, probably in the last year and a half or so, I'm seeing a lot of products that say like plant derivative or no, like retinol, like substitution, right? So there are some companies that know that this isn't the healthy, the end game of this product isn't what we want to give to clients. Yes, you may shed some skin in the short game, but what it's doing to you inside has been known to be sketchy. And I know the reason that I even started my skincare line in the first place was when I was 27, an entertainment manager prescribed Accutane for me. Now, does Accutane have retin A in it?
So so I can, it's so great what you just said, because you just opened the door for me to go nuts.
Don't go too nuts.
So so Accutane is, it's retinoic acid. And so the problem is that there's all these different names, and they get an umbrella term called retinoids, right? Yeah. So retinoid is anything that's derived from vitamin A. But you've got your more innocent types of vitamin A, like beta carotene, and then you've got your active form of vitamin A, which is retinoic acid. Yeah. And so medication, Accutane, is like the chemical word for it is isotretinoin. Sorry to throw all these terms around, but it's just so that people can see. I'm sure some women have seen it on the tubes, you know. You're trying to read this, like on the skin, it's called tretinoin. So retin A is a skin product, which is prescription. It's like Accutane, prescription for the exterior, for topical, and that's called tretinoin. And then Accutane is a medication derived from vitamin A, but it's not vitamin A. It's isotretinoin. retinoin, which is retinoic acid. Sorry for these terms, but you're going to see this stuff. And it all is under the retinoid. Now, what you just said is so important, Denice, because when you put retinols on your skin, they do have an immediate effect where you look better, because it causes the cells to turn over very quickly. So it's the mitosis of the cell replicating very quickly, and so you're going to slough off your dead skin cells, and you're going to glow, and you're going to look great, and your wrinkles are going to go away, and then you never want to stop using it. But the problem, what you just said, is long-term effect. Yes, exactly. And that's why it's in all the skincare, is because it gives an immediate effect, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to find it everywhere, because we, as our nature is, we want to see that something works, and we want to see it work quickly, right?
Yeah.
On the way. But the problem is that the long-term effect of this
Dude,
is that
I would love to take like really heavy duty narcotic sleeping medication every night to sleep. I'd love to do that. The long term ain't good on that. You know, sometimes we gotta like look at the long term and like, all right, I'm gonna have calcium, magnesium, a little Himalayan salt and honey, you know. But yes, there, that temptation.
the temptation is real.
Yeah.
And I have it. I mean, the I don't eat, or the amount of things I don't put on my body, that I'm totally tempted to do, because I do want that immediate effect. We all want it. But
and you know, we can mess up if we, like, fortunately, like I did that Accutane, right? When I was 27, I did it for maybe 10 months. I'm very dry because of that, which was sort of a bummer, because I started off this lifetime as like a nice oily Italian, you know. And then wondered why in my 30s, why I was starting to get fine lines already. And somebody said, oh, well, did you ever do Accutane? I'm like, yes, you know, you don't think about fine lines and wrinkles when you're a 25-year-old actress, you know, you just want no pimples. So that's yeah, and that's what got me to formulate something that was very healthy, but super nourishing. And not only I wanted exfoliation, because Murad came out in like the early 90s, and it was fruit glycolic acid, and I'm like, I can make my own. And I started to rot fruit, and I put it on my face, and it would tingle. I didn't have the money to like buy you know, that back then. And so that was my journey of like olive oils and butters to get that hydration back, and fruit enzymes to be sort of a natural exfoliation. And then, you know, salts, sugars, baking sodas, whatever had a little bit of grit, you know. Yes, to sort of like make up for.
Created and done in our lives that we concocted in our kitchens, or we concocted in our homes to handle a problem. And you don't necessarily want to buy what's out there, or you can't afford what's out there, so you just like solve the problem yourself at home. I love it. I love it.
Tell us, what's another gadget that you use? Now, of course, we sell the gua sha, but there's some other things you have. What is something at home that
I'm looking at my gadgets, because I have like 10 of them.
Oh my gosh.
And what are my favorite ones? And there's two that are equally favorite. So red light.
Look at this, ladies. All right, so how can you get this red light? Is this like a, you know, $1,000 treatment?
This is $30.
$30, ladies and gentlemen, $30.
You too can have this magical red light. So this is called a Ruby Lux. That's the brand name. The brands do matter. Just like red light isn't enough. So Ruby Lux. I think it's rubylux.com. I'm like not affiliated at all. It's just a really good. It's a near infrared light and a red near infrared.
Okay.
And before I explain it, I'm just going to show you one more. Now, if you want to spend a ton of money, you can get the Juve. Let me turn this on. Same thing. It's near infrared.
I don't care about the ton of money. I'm always trying to save my clients money. I'm always trying to. So the other one, they can go to
it, because it's something you can have at home, because these are in spas. And you can spend hundreds of dollars going to the spa, or you can just buy your own, is my
How much was that one? How much was that big one?
After tax, after shipping, after everything is around $800.
Okay, yeah. So the other one was $30. Does it come with that case?
No, so this is a clamp lamp, and you buy it separately. And
can you Amazon that?
Both of them you can Amazon. There, you just
right.
open up. So yeah,
I see you. You just have a little stand. You just clamp it there. You've got hands free, because I have to say I've got a wand from years ago, like a red light wand, and I wouldn't use it because I can't do anything. I can't be while I'm doing this.
Is a multitasker, so I have it hanging up, and I literally do my work, and I'm a multitasker. I have all of these, and I don't have time to sit and just do one at a time.
You have ovaries. That's why we, all of us women, we're multitaskers. Carry on.
Multitaskers, because we have ovaries. So I have this thing like shining on me all the time in all these different angles while I'm working, while I'm texting.
Is it good for hair growth?
Yes, we have it on George's hair, and I took pictures before and after, and he's literally growing new hair in the male.
Yes. We'll put a
Like,
link of this, ladies. You know, put a message in the comments, and we'll give you the info on that.
But what it does is it builds collagen. We're back to collagen. It's collagen. Anti-inflammatory. It's anti-pain. It's actually detoxifies.
Yeah.
But the big thing is that it builds up collagen in the lab by shining it on your face if you do it consistently.
Can you put your face cream? Can you put my face cream on it when you're doing it?
Oh, totally. You can put your face cream on it and then put the light. But the other thing that I use with your face cream, ready for this, guys?
Oh, yeah. That's what I used to, the $150 facials, they would do that. And now you can buy it yourself.
This is $50.
$50.
And you just like zap your zits. And what I do, literally, this is like, I told you this the other day, I literally cover my face with your moisturizer, and then I go to town. I zap my zits.
Does that tickle or hurt at all?
It's like a zap. It's electricity. But you know what this is? This is ozone.
Please send me for the red light. Okay. We'll send you, Julia, the info for the red light for sure. No, when we're done with this live, I'm going to, so thank you. Yeah, I'll type it. Just anybody ask and I'll type it to you. So this thing is great because I have a lot of clients who have children who've got acne, and I know that our vitamin C serum really helps, and to have a tool that helps to infuse that in, because when I would get facials, because remember, I was the girl who had zits and was acting, and finally a manager said, we're gonna kill your complexion altogether with Accutane. But I'd have, whatever, I'd have just a few little clever ones, but they would use those little wands. They'd put something on me, like a serum or a cream, and then they put a piece of gauze. Do you need the gauze anymore? Okay.
No, not necessary. I mean, so.
And that was 25 years ago.
Light to zap my own zits, right? Or not this light, sorry, this zapper. It's called a high frequency, what is it called? Whatever. This is what it is.
There we go. Let's see that. It's called New Derma. All right.
But it's a high frequency machine, and I got it to zap the zits. And what it is remember I said like the lightning strikes, and electricity causes the oxygen, basically the molecules, to separate and turn into ozone. This is mimicking like a lightning strike. The electricity is, and you smell it. It's ozone.
Yeah, I remember the smell when I would get these.
So it's like oxygen on steroids. And what is
fascinating?
It kills bacteria and it kills viruses and kills pathogens. But then the high frequency electricity aspect of it, this is why it's like it does multiple things.
What about for eczema?
Cells, and your skin cells produce ATP, which is the energy of the cell, and then the cell starts to become healthier, and it produces collagen and elastin. So we just keep coming back to that. And so I got it to zap my zits, because, you know, when you get a facial, you get this done and they zap your zits and the zits go away. It's like magic. But then I decided to just do it everywhere. And my skin just started glowing and like tightening. And I just like, I would do it at night and wake up the next morning, and I could not believe like the difference, like fewer wrinkles, like plumper skin. And I'm like, okay, this is it. This is now the red light and the zapper are my two favorite, and the gua sha. And this isn't a commercial for you. It's like literally what I do. The gua sha, the red light, and the zapper are my at-home things that are cheap, like $30, and $50, right?
And then they're yours. They're one-time purchases. And then you use the cream. The cream lasts for months and months, you know. Yeah. And look at you, dewy, lovely. Oh my gosh.
But it comes, you know, inside and out. You got to do the outside and you got to do the inside.
Yes. So, well, that's perfect. That leads us to, I keep talking about this superfood that you have to have. And because it blew my mind when I did your 5-day cleanse. And it was the first time I actually did a cleanse. And it's the first time I actually did a fast. And I couldn't even call it a fast because I had so much I had to put in my mouth every day that I was never hungry. Meanwhile, the caloric intake is pretty low, not super low because you're getting butter and you get to put collagen in. So you're getting protein, you're getting oils. But it was like, and actually since then, I did it 2 months ago. I have not, this is fake coffee. This is the chicory.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't gone.
I haven't gone back. I had a cup of coffee one time with my daughter in Miami 2 weeks ago when we were there, 3 weeks ago. But our Nespresso machine that I was happily addicted to 3 times a day, I haven't done it since that fast. Like I feel a little dirty. So anyway, awesome. I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm still going to allow myself a nice coffee when I go visit my friend in California, or, you know, but yeah, the fact that I've, the lack of caffeine that I've put in my body, and I'm trying to work on my, my hot flashes. So
understood.
So I did that 5-day cleanse, and it was just fantastic. Anybody has questions about that, you will absolutely reach out to Tara about it. It's simple. It helps you reset. It's not scary. It's only 5 days, which yes, it's more than 2 or 3 days, but it ain't 21 days, which a lot of fasts are like 21 days. You can do anything for 5 days. So, but during that, we were talking about one of your programs that you're doing with people, and one of the most important foods, we were talking about the importance of the liver and bile and how things get cleaned and strained through that, and how that affects your intestine, your gut, and what that does to your skin. Right. In layman terms, what is the one superfood that actually helps to pull toxins from the bile that goes through the liver the best?
I love the way you set that up. It's so easy in layman's terms. Mm-hmm. Beans.
Black beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans. What about lentils?
What did you say?
Lentils?
Sure. Lentils. Hummus. Everybody loves hummus. Mm. The lowly bean, the bean that has been so, it's been given such a bad reputation. People have just insulted it and abused it and called it names. The lowly, cheap bean.
Cheap source of amazing protein.
It's amazing. It's filled with proteins. It's milk. It has zinc, and everybody's talking about zinc right now.
Right.
It has folic acid, it has the B vitamins, it has potassium, and the most important ingredient in beans is soluble fiber.
There it is.
You talked about how it helps to detox the body and pull the toxins out. The magic about beans is the soluble fiber. And so soluble, just to define it, it means something that's dissolved into it. So soluble Fiber means that the fiber acts like a sponge and
Drinks
sucks
it.
into it. Yeah. So soluble fiber is going to literally suck toxins from the bile. So bile is a liquid that your liver produces bile, and it's stored in the gallbladder, and then it's secreted into the small intestines when you eat. And a little bit's dripping all the time. And we oftentimes think that bile is this really bad thing because maybe we've
gotten sick and we've thrown up and bile is there. I got your picture, sister. We could say this is my channel.
To change positions. So good. Okay, I was going to say, yeah, you vomit and you see bile, and then you think bile is bad.
Bile, right?
Yes. Bile is your friend. Bile is our best friend because bile stores the fat-soluble toxins. So fat-soluble means it's dissolved into fat, so it's toxins that are stored in fat. So your toxins that are stored in fat are stored in the bile. They go in the bile, and it's the job of the bile to get it out of the body through the intestines. And
meaning
so,
through your poop or
you
shoot.
poop. So we're just gonna vomit and poop here. We're just gonna let the words fly.
Let the words fly.
Now the thing is that in a perfectly healthy body, maybe we poop out 5% of our fat-soluble toxins.
Okay, say again. In a healthy body, a regular body,
you're gonna poop out 5% of the toxins that are in your bile.
Okay, they're in your bile. Okay. What happens to the 95% that's in the bile?
It goes back into your bloodstream.
Okay.
And then goes back into your liver.
Back into your liver.
And
Not
then
so good.
It goes into the bile. You poop out 5%. It goes. The other toxins go back to the bloodstream, goes back into your liver, and it just keeps happening, right?
Is it possible to amp that up?
Yeah. So soluble fiber. So let's say that you've got acne. Let's say you have rosacea. Let's say that you have an autoimmune disease. Let's say you have diabetes. Let's say that you're overweight. So any of these common health problems that we have, you're not pooping out 5%. You're pooping out like 1%, 2%, 3% of the toxins that you need to eliminate from your body. So you eat beans because the beans are going to grab onto those toxins and help you get as close as possible to pooping out the 5%.
I love it. My husband is putting a whole bunch of hearts right now.
I'm going to put a bunch of poop emojis.
My husband, who for 33 years has put up with his wife, who's been eating beans her whole life. I've been eating beans my whole life because I grew up with a single mom with 2 kids. We didn't have a bunch of cash, but I knew that protein was important. At 10 years old, I knew that it was important. And so living in Los Angeles, there were a lot of burritos, a lot of beans. It was cheap. Mom was working 2 jobs, open up that can of beans and toast up that tortilla shell. Nothing better than a burrito. I
love talking about that with you because you have such amazing health. And you're so beautiful and your skin is glowing. And, as long as I've known you, your skin is glowing and you have such amazing health. And when we started talking about beans and you told me that you've been eating beans your whole life and that it was something that you reached for because it was inexpensive and you knew that you needed protein. I mean, I got so excited.
You did. You were like,
it's a foundation for your food choices because, when you look at you, Denice, you are an example of a woman who's aging beautifully. Like you haven't gained weight. Your skin is glowing. You don't have wrinkles. You're radiant. You're filled with energy. I mean, you really are a glowing example of what to age beautifully and well and healthy.
Thank you.
And, so sure, there's a genetic piece. We some of us are more blessed and some of us are less blessed genetically, but it's what we do.
Yeah, we could ruin our genes at around 30. We could screw them over.
We can destroy. We can be born with these like your genetic body, but we can destroy it. And the reverse is true. Like we could have like not such a great genetic body, but we can do all kinds of things to build on that. And then we wind up aging better than someone who maybe was born genetically blessed more so than we were, but then they destroyed it.
Yeah.
But you told me that you've been eating beans. You know how excited I am. Like you're kidding me. It's like It's like I found your secret. Like I uncovered the secret of how you aging.
And to know why, like on my end, I was like, I kept telling my husband, I'm like, oh my God, this has been a good thing. Like I don't have to be embarrassed that I'll pop open a can of garbanzo beans at my desk just like that and just eat them. In my mind, they feel like they're mozzarella cheese balls. Like that's how much I love a garbanzo bean. I'd rather eat mozzarella cheese balls, but I know that much dairy is just not the greatest, you know?
Right.
I'd rather save it for the right times. But I know that I always knew I could eat an infinite amount of kidney beans and garbanzo beans. And that's what I would feed my daughter as snacks when she was like 4 and 5 and 6 years old, sitting in front of the TV. I'd put some red kidney beans because little fingers could pick them up, and some carrots. And I thought, she got the protein in, she got the vegetable in. And when dinner time comes around and it's mac and cheese and she doesn't want to eat it, it's okay. She got the beans and the carrots. That does a body good.
I love what you just said. What you just said is so key. Is like, so you're feeding her the beans, right? And then she either, let's say you said mac and cheese, which isn't like the healthiest thing in the world. But the beans counteract it, right? Because the beans are grabbing the toxins and pulling it out. So you can actually, if you're healthy, you can actually get away. I mean, I don't want to like give a blessing to go eat crap and then eat beans and you're fine. But you can get away, you know, if you're healthy, you can get away with exposures to various chemicals and toxins, because if you're just eating your beans, it's just going to pull it right out. So it's like a magical food.
I'll tell you, I actually just had another realization now, because I always thought that the reason I could have my pizza a couple times a week and my, you know, real junky, you know, my like junk food ice cream, soft serve, Carvel or something, once a week is because I eat green vegetables. But I do eat a lot of raw green vegetables, but I never looked at the beans probably being even more important in its soluble fiber to just keep things, you know, moving and not creating negative effects to the body. I call my body, it's like a bank account, and you can make a deposit into it, or you can do a withdrawal. And so having an ice cream and having pizza, those are withdrawals. Like they're not really, it's not, unless it's like good organic flour and nice, you know, but in general, Domino's is
butter yourself and make the yourself.
You know, but you know, if I'm at a kid's party and I'm having Domino's pizza, that's a withdrawal, you know. But because I've made enough deposits throughout, you know, that I'm doing the green vegetables, I'm doing the beans, I'm doing like ingredients that are just whole foods that don't come out of a package, you know, they're like single ingredient, maybe 2 at most, that I can afford to keep that balanced. But I do remember a nutritionist that my mom went to. She worked in a chiropractor office and I was 15. And I remember her age was the same age as my grandmother's. And she looked like my mother's age, but she was my grandmother's age. And she said, "You eat sugar, it gives you wrinkles." And that scared the shit out of me. You know, now I definitely,
He was right.
You know, I do have sugar, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking that. So it's why I'll have maybe 1 or 2 cookies and I'm willing to throw the rest of the package away. You know, it's why I'll take a couple bites of cake and shove the rest of the cake in the trash.
Yeah.
Pour salt on it if I have to. I don't deprive myself things, but I do it so small because I just always remember that lady and what she said, what sugars do to your skin.
That really stuck with you.
Yeah.
Good at such a young age. Yeah.
Right.
Good that stuck with you. Sugar breaks down the skin cells. Sugar breaks down cells. So that's how you get it. It's breaking down your skin cells.
Oh my gosh.
If you're healthy and it's in balance, not a problem.
That's right. Just keep that bank account juggled, you know, make sure to keep the deposits going in and knowing what those food ingredients are. So, all right. So we're going to add beans, ladies. We're going to add beans to our diet. Now, you did say something that, you know, like if someone says it gives me gas, it makes me feel bloated or distended, address that.
Yeah, I was actually before we end off, I was like, I just want to say one thing is about the gas. Yeah, about the gas, all that. So, so one thing is, if you have never eaten beans before and you're listening to this and get so excited and you eat a whole bowl of beans, you are going to be miserable. So please don't do that. Not guaranteed, but some people will be miserable. So I just want to really handle that right off the bat. The soluble fiber, beans get a bad rap because of the gas, right? But it's not that the beans produce gas, it's that the beans are actually like pulling out hormones like cortisol and epinephrine and these hormones that the adrenals are producing that cause us to ferment our foods and produce gas. So I know that might sound confusing, but the takeaway from that is that the beans are actually solving the problem, but in doing so, you temporarily get gassy.
Yeah.
So that what you want to do is just to have like 1 or 2 spoonfuls of beans. So down and eat a cup of beans if you're not accustomed.
Don't go full Denice. Don't go full Denice on it. I'm a professional, kids. Don't try this at home.
Don't clean up. Just have like 1 or 2 spoonfuls a day for maybe a week, and then your body will adjust. And it's feeding, because the soluble fiber is also a prebiotic, which is food for probiotics. So it's food for the good bacteria of your gut. So, you know, as the bad bacteria die and the good bacteria populate, you get gas. And so the problem is that people have like, they go and they get Mexican food and they have a whole bunch of beans, and then they distend and they feel horrible and they think, I can't have beans. I'm allergic to them, or they don't sit well with me. And it's literally just because you had a pre-existing imbalance in your intestines, and the beans go in to like clean it up.
Yeah.
And you get all kinds of symptoms. And so a couple of things is like 1 or 2 spoonfuls a week, you do well. Another 2, like then you're like 3 or 4 spoonfuls a week, and just work your way up to like half a cup or a cup a day over time. And then the other thing is that if you have any sensitivity with beans, cook them. Just like use an Instapot, a pressure cooker, because when you cook the beans, you're breaking down the fiber even more, so it's more digestible, but you're getting rid of the antitoxins, the anti-nutrients, all the like the phytic acid and the lectins that everybody's so worried about. People are very worried about lectins in beans and anti-nutrients called phytic acid in beans because of some of the popular diets out there right now. And the way to solve that is you can soak them if you want to. That'll help, but you don't have to. You just cook them.
But when you get cooked beans they're already cooked in a can.
You can do canned, because you've got your canned beans and then you've got your dry beans, right? And so the more you soak them, the more you cook them. I'm just talking to the people who are afraid of getting gas. That's all. Right. Like the more you soak them and the more you cook them, the less problem you're going to have with gas.
Okay. By the way, Erin here, we have Erin who said that she used your salad dressing recipe. She took her 13-year-old daughter to a market and made your salad dressing recipe.
Nice.
Oh, I love it.
But I wanted to say we can eat canned beans. This is what makes it so great, is that you don't have to be a cook, and this doesn't need to be elaborate. You can literally just open a can of beans because they're pre-cooked.
Yeah. Great.
That's how this. Take a spoonful and you're good.
Now I'm thinking, how can I make a black bean facial?
Oh, please do. Please do.
Because they are the probiotics, prebiotics, you know, kombucha, all that stuff is like that's starting to come into skincare.
Nice. Oh, yes. Please. And the way this relates to skin, because here I'm talking about the intestines.
Yes.
Is your skin is only going to be as clear and as beautiful as you are healthy. And so we can do all the gadgets that I just talked about, and we can go and get expensive facials, and we can put expensive products on our face, and you're only going to be as beautiful as you are healthy, and your skin is only going to glow as much as you are healthy. And so the beans work because you're cleaning up the junk. You're literally cleaning up the toxins in your body and getting it out of your body rather than it just be recycling. So as the toxins and the junk leaves your body, and as your liver becomes healthier, your liver has so much to do with the glowiness, the dewy, the clarity of your skin. So what you eat matters. And for your skin, I would absolutely say that beans are a superfood for your skin, hands down.
Right. When I texted you, Tara, to say, look, I want to have you as my next guest, and I want people to know about the #1 superfood, you know, and you knew just what it was, because it's, you know, there are superfoods that are harder to, like goji berries. Like, I'm not going to get full eating goji berries. I'm not going to get full eating chia seeds or flax seeds. You know, those to me are like, they're like salt and pepper. They're like seasonings. They're great. You should add them to your shakes and what, you know, your oatmeals or your acai bowls. But I'm always hungry. I like to get filled up, but I like to get filled up on something that is going to aid my health and not set me back. You know, I save those setback foods for when I'm at parties when there's nothing else available. So when I'm by myself, I never eat junk food by myself, because it's a waste. It's a waste of some fun food. So my snacks when I'm sitting at the computer by myself are eating eating beans, eating, you know, raw vegetables, you know, chunking some celery with nuts. Now, nuts aren't as much of a soluble fiber, right? I mean, they're good for you, right? But
so there's soluble fiber and there's insoluble fiber.
Okay.
And most vegetables and most foods that contain fiber have both. So even beans have both.
Okay.
But portion. And so most of your vegetables have insoluble fiber, right? And your nuts and things like that. And so those just act like bulk. It's bulky, and so it's like pushes your poop out.
Yeah.
And that's good. You know, you want, if you're constipated, you want to push your poop out. But the soluble fiber is the sponge. So the insoluble fiber is just like a helper. And
insoluble, meaning like vegetables and nuts. They're not sponge. They're not sucking. They're just helping to move stuff along. Move it, people. Move it, people.
That's right.
And then the cleaner comes in.
That's right.
And the cleaner comes in and sucks all the stuff, and that's our beans. That's our beans, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we've had some people come in just now. They're like, oh, Miss, we have a question from Trisha asking about how important it is to eat good oils and that are good for the skin, and how much a day would you recommend? And what are some good oils? How can you get them in your system?
It's a good question. So yeah, fats and oils are super important to moisturize our bodies from the inside out, because, you know, we can't just moisturize putting things topically on our skin. We have to be moist from the inside out. So fats and oils are great for that. And how much per day? Believe it or not, as a nutritionist, I don't put numbers on things for the most part. I really am a believer that you should eat for what feels right for the individual. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I wouldn't eat like a bottle of olive oil, but I know, sorry, several tablespoons per day. My favorite fat is butter. Just hands down, like ever since I was a kid, my favorite fat is butter. And butter, in my opinion, is a superfood. It is an essential food. It's a health food. It gets a bad rap, and depending on what diet you're looking at, but it has so many other benefits. It has vitamin K in it, and it has butyric acid. It just has so many wonderful qualities to it. But olive oil is my next favorite oil. I actually love avocado oil. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it depends on what you want to do. There's a lot of healthy oils. Even sunflower oils can be healthy. They're depends on what you're going for. And coconut oils, maybe not. It depends on the individual. And avocado.
I mean, one of the lunch that I probably have 4 times a week is an avocado cut in half, and I pour olive oil in the cup of the cup of it where the seed is, and then I open up a bunch of pistachio nuts. I shred a little bit of Parmesan cheese and some sea salt.
I was just gonna say, you've got to salt that.
Got to salt that thing. Yep. And then if I'll crush up some garlic, put some garlic on it. And like,
Salt,
what?
fat and salt.
Yeah.
Is a beautiful combo. It tastes, why do we crave fat and salt? Potato chips, right? Why do we crave fatty, salty things? They actually go together because the fat acts like a carrier to bring the salt into the cells. We actually need people
need salt.
Need salt. It's a mineral. We need it. And we like water follows salt, which means we don't get hydrated. Our skin doesn't get hydrated if we don't have salt. So water follows salt and salt follows fat. So if you the fat brings the salt into the cell, which is bringing the water into the cells. Yeah.
It's very like old school Mediterranean, right? They don't have the drive-throughs. They're not getting their salt from French fries, which has fat, oil, and salt, but it's in a degraded French fry, which doesn't have the life in it. They're getting, you're getting olive oil that is like pure, and make sure you get pure olive oil, because that can be, and you're getting good sea salts. I mean, I did some traveling and I literally brought my own salt with me on my trip. I wanted like the good salt because we do a lot of popcorn here late at night. So I'm like, I'm going to do the popcorn, but I'm going to have the good healthy salt,
Yeah. Quality is everything, right? It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a car, whether it's a machine, whether it's a skin product, or whether it's food. Quality is everything. So we talk about fat, oil, and salt, but McDonald's is not the same thing as like going to Italy and going to the Mediterranean and eating that.
That's right. And it's like with my skin cream, for example, like I tell people, you're not going to die from using cheap products. And when I say cheap, I don't even just mean price tag. I mean the ingredients that are in it, because a lot of like your over-the-counter skincare, skin creams, they're basically filled with, like, you could sort of make an analogy of like old iceberg lettuce. All right, it's probably not going to kill you, but is it going to feed your skin?
Yeah.
Whereas my skin cream is like pure botanically, it's like having spinach and kale and organic beans. Like it's the difference between that, which one. And for me at 55, I've only got another 50 years left. I'm on the second half. I want everything I use to make a difference now, not, I'm not like I'm 20 and I could use some vitamin C cream that probably has 0.00002%, but I only had to pay $8 because it was on here at Marshall's on the, clearance rack. Well, no, I don't have time to trust that vitamin C serum that's on overstock has got anything that's going to do anything for me, right? Just because it's got a pretty label and it's $8. So I sniff out advertising as an actress who's done commercials. I've seen what goes on in advertising. I know what they do to make hair look shiny in a commercial. I'm a photographer. I know what they do to make skin look good. But I've also seen good, healthy examples of life who've done the right thing and have walked the walk and have eaten the talk. And I'm like, wow, that actually works. Someone living that way. And so that's why I wanted to create a skincare line that actually had the real stuff that I would want to buy with my hard-earned dollars, because I want those results and not filled with cheap stuff. So my friendship with you has been so satisfying, not to mention we enjoy our time together when, I was in New York, but our similar aesthetics and desire for real health.
It's so true, because I mean, just because you're my buddy wouldn't mean that I would use your skincare if it didn't meet the criteria, because I'm so picky. I mean, you know me, so picky. I'm so picky about what I eat. I'm so picky about what I put on my skin, because we absorb anything we put on our skin. We absorb it.
I know. That's why patches work. People that put patches on for hormone or for any kind of medical medicines, they put a patch, it goes in the body. Right. So what would make you think that putting skincare or Chobani yogurt, I'm going to be getting on a plane, my husband bought me, that what makes you think that wouldn't actually go into your system?
That's
beans
right.
help relieve diarrhea. Okay, someone asked if beans will help relieve diarrhea.
Yeah, so so I'm going to answer that, but I just really briefly just wanted to touch on what you were saying. What I was about to say about our friendship and your cream was that I started using your cream because I read the ingredients.
Yeah.
It wasn't because you were my buddy. It's like I read the ingredients and I was like, wow, it's my criteria, being incredibly picky.
And you even went further. You wanted to know, like, about our shea butter. You wanted to know, was it raw? Is it refined? Is it unrefined? You know, I had to go, you know, call my chemist. I just knew it was.
I had to call your chemist to ask questions about what's in this before I approved it on my program. Like, because I tell my clients what to put on their skin because we're doing a whole detox and a repair process.
Totally.
So I tell them what they can and can't put on their skin. And so just recently I approved this for my program because that's how clean the ingredients are, because I know it's going into our bloodstream. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Like, you keep saying food for your face, and it really is, the quality of the ingredients matter. But then, so her question about will beans help with diarrhea? And the answer is yes. Beans can help with diarrhea and with constipation, either way. A couple of things: if you eat too many beans too quickly, it can cause constipation and it can cause diarrhea initially. And so that's why I just keep saying a couple of tablespoons, that's it. And then slowly work your way up. And as you slowly work your way up, it's handling whatever the imbalance is there. So whether the imbalance is because you don't have enough roughage, which is the insoluble fiber, or is the imbalance because your gut biome, which is the probiotics, the living bugs that are in your intestines, you've got good ones and bad ones, is that out of balance? Is it because your bile, which is the liquid that your liver squirts into your intestines to help you digest your food? Is it because your bile isn't working properly? Like, there's so many possible reasons. Yeah. And the work on all of it. Yeah.
I have to completely agree with that, because when I look back at my 55 years and my 0 trips to the doctor, you know, I went when I was 18 for something on my nose.
You're such a
yeah. Okay. So I'm getting hot flashes at 55. You know, I'm not going to kick myself out of bed for that, you know, but I am taking it to the next level of health and having done your cleanse. You know, even like I love green tea. I do a lot of green tea. I've been doing that a little bit less just because I'm just trying to handle a little something with this hot flash thing, you know.
Right. Caffeine is just going to make that worse. So you're smart.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, wait, someone asked, let's see, canned beans are good. I think someone missed the beginning and they want to know if canned beans are okay. Checking that the creams approved by Terra program. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Please tell me a dairy-free butter.
Dairy-free butter, whatever it is.
Yeah, I know, Erin, it's tough with dairy-free butter because what they do to give it that slippy oil loveliness, they do a lot of chemical heating procedures and synthetic and hydrogenations to make it appear like butter. I mean, somebody asked about tallow. I don't know if she's still around. It's like beef tallow, right? Tallow, Tallow. What do you think about that?
Oh, you froze. You froze. Oh, you're back.
Okay. What do you think about tallow?
I asked about dairy-free butter. You could look at ghee. It's not dairy-free, but it is clarified. So it's really just a clarified fat, as opposed to like any of the casein or the dairy protein that you might be reacting to. If that's the issue, if a person is sensitive to dairy, they can oftentimes handle ghee, which is clarified butter. So that could be a potential option, as opposed to a chemical version that was made in a laboratory to mimic butter, like margarine or something like that. Right. I'm just like, they cause so many health problems. Right. Then tallow. Go ahead.
No, I always feel like I want to, you know, I know some people that had a hard time with raw vegetables and they couldn't have any raw vegetables, and they stayed with me for a while, and I so couldn't agree with that. You know, like, I know it hurts, but I felt it hurt because there were so much, like, dairy hurts them, and gluten, everything was hurting their tummy. And I just felt like it's got to man up. Like our body should be able to like digest a raw fucking vegetable, you know?
Good. And if they can't, that actually means there's something out of balance.
There's something, that was my thing. And I'm like, it's not the raw, it's not that you, like, you're going to need raw vegetables. You're 30, you're going to need, you can't not have vegetables for the rest of your life. So something's, but I did start to do I started to chop them super tiny and add them a little bit. I blended them up. This was a decade ago.
Them and puree them, and yeah. So I mean, I know you're saying raw vegetables, but if a person can't tolerate raw vegetables, they need to be cooked. So they need to be pre-digested. So when we chew, that's a pre-digestion, right? And then as digesting the food, it's getting broken down. And so if a person can't tolerate certain foods, so we're talking about raw vegetables, you have to pre-digest them. So put them in a blender, just like you said, or cook them into a soup or puree them.
I chopped them up really tiny for one dinner. I was like, I'm not wasting these vegetables. You're gonna, you know, and they said that 2 days later, she came out of the bathroom at our house and said, I just have to tell you, I did the best poop of my life. I was so proud. I was so proud. A good poop. Okay.
Important.
It is. It is. Somebody asked about skin tag solution.
I don't know. You know, I mean, tag, I don't have a solution other than, I mean, you can like burn them off, but I know that's not what she's asking. You know, why it really is like, why are you developing skin tags? That's going to be an issue with cholesterol, and not just like the cholesterol necessarily in your blood, but the fact that you're depositing cholesterol in your skin. So if you've ever have like these, and men too, but they have got a lot of bumps on their eyes and their eyelids. Those are cholesterol deposits. They're cholesterol deposits. So it doesn't automatically mean that your cholesterol is super high as far as your blood work is concerned, but it does mean that you're not processing your fats properly, and that you're not, cholesterol protects us. So if it's deposited somewhere, there's a reason for that. So my answer would be like, why are you creating skin tags? It's going to be more of a health issue. And as far as getting rid of them, the only thing that I know is you can freeze them and zap them off, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. You can go to an
these days they've got really great dermatologist office in and out, bing, you know. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm like vinegar. We do a lot of drinking vinegar. Celery juice, you're a big celery juice, right? You were right in there with the celery juice craze. Just plain celery, buy it organic, you know, spend the $2 more. If you're going to juice your celery, buy it organic, because literally you're not even giving your body the chance to eat the non-organic and at least maybe shit out some of the toxins. Am I right? Like,
yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because when I looked at your promo and it was like, you know, what's the superfood, and then what are the toxins in skincare, I so wanted to remember, and I forgot talking, so I'm glad you just brought that up, about organic, because organic isn't just a higher price tag. It's not BS. So
it's lower trips to the doctor.
It's lower trips. Yeah, it's like either invest in your food or invest in your medical care, because it's one or the other. It's like you're going to spend the money on what you put in your body, or you're going to spend your money on doctor bills and medication, surgeries. It's one or the other, and I prefer to spend my money on food. But I want to bring up the organic piece. There's a lot to this conversation, but I just want to talk about one thing, which is glyphosate. And glyphosate is the name of the chemical in Roundup. So non-organic foods are sprayed, like genetically modified foods, anything from the company Monsanto is sprayed with a pesticide, and the pesticide's name is glyphosate. And this breaks down the enzymes, the enzyme system of our body that enables us to detox. So if we are eating non-organic food, it's not just that we're getting some additional pesticides in our body. It's not that. It's literally damaging our ability to detoxify our body, anything.
Right.
So
and it keeps it, Yeah, your skin does, like, you'll see some like big, like it'll droop, things will droop, our skin tone, right? Arms will like will droop.
Crepey skin, wrinkles, dark
Yeah,
circles, eyes. How about
yeah,
all puffiness? The lymphatic drainage doesn't work. Like all losing your hair, brittle nails. Like this is all connected. So eating organic
yes,
isn't like a higher price tag. It's literally protecting your body from aging. Literally.
yeah. No, I kick and scream all the way. I buy about 60% organic, 40% I get a little weak on, but it's always in my, you know, I don't beat myself up about it, you know, because I know. And so as long as like you're moving in the direction to be more healthy, it's that, you know, two steps
Yes.
forward, one step back, you know, as opposed to I can't, it's too expensive. And then you don't
Yeah.
do anything, you know. I've kept that balance, you know. There's just some times where I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not going to pay $6 for this bell pepper, you know. but okay, then I'm going to cook it a lot, you know, and I know,
Well,
and I'm going to make.
it doesn't matter. You can't cook off the pesticides.
Okay.
Do like what you're saying. It's not an all or nothing game.
Yeah.
That breaks my heart when people either give up or don't start because it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's baby steps. It's gradients and it's baby steps. And if you just stick to like the what is it, the clean dozen, or the, you know, whatever that phrase is, if you just stick to the organic foods for the worst of them, and then if you eat your beans, because
That's right.
the beans pull out the pesticide, you know, it
Yeah.
pulls out, and so you can balance. You can definitely put balance there.
Oh my gosh, this has been so many nuggets. So we got a lot of beans out of this, that's for sure. For the amount of beans we put into this little discussion, I got more than my fair share of beans out of you, girlfriend.
I love it. This is so much fun. I mean, this is my career, but it's also my hobby. You know, it's my passion. It's like health and beauty, health and beauty. I can just talk about it all day long. This is so much fun.
We're gonna have to come back after you know, in a couple of months. We're gonna have to do this again, because you just always have new gadgets. You have with your clients. I love sharing, you know, sharing with others the stories that you have with your clients. And you know, I've got new skin products coming out, and I've always got your formulations in mind when we're doing that too. So anyway, we've had such amazing people here. Adriana and Trisha already bought the red light. Ashley joined us. Well, Erin, she's just fantastic. Jennifer's probably going to rewatch it. Cindy, of course. Julia, what a beautiful spelling of that name. And Christine and Doris. Anyway, you guys are all super rad for hanging with us. Laura. Yeah. So, you know, we just want to, the whole thing is, you know, healthy inside is healthy outside, and we'll keep that balance. We do what we can. Don't beat ourselves up for, you know, someone who has a refrigerator full of everything organic like I do. I'm like, wow, you know, but you just take baby steps at it, you know, because we want to live long. This planet needs more loving, artistic, beautiful women, especially. So it's important for us. We do we all have a lot of responsibilities, and the more strength we have, the more energy we have, and our bodies are quite the more complex bodies.
Whew, you're telling me. Yeah.
Right, sister, you know it.
I was like, eat this, don't eat this, and they're done.
That's right.
Oh, that happened. Now we got to troubleshoot that.
We got to troubleshoot. Yeah. But we are here to answer any questions. You know, put anything in the comments. We'll be checking it, not just during this live, but, you know, weeks down the road. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Tara. I just, mwah, 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 mwah.
I love this. It's so much fun.
My absolute pleasure.
I loved it.
So great. All right, darling. I will talk with you later.
Okay, talk with you later.
Bye. All right, guys. How was that, right? I try and always I learn so much. Oh, I'm so glad, Sarah. I'm so glad. Okay, tallow, Joanne. Tallow, it's beef. It's like meat fat. You can Google it, but you'll see it in certain stores. I'm sure they have it in Nature's Food Patch by you. This is so cool. Just looking for any other questions here before I end off. Yeah, she's got a lot of great health tips. So I'm gonna get me that little zit zapper with I'm gonna gift that to a couple people I know. So Erica, thank you so much. Okay, guys, have a beautiful rest of your weekend, and I'm hugging you all, and we'll see each other at the next one, and all in between, because that's what social media is about. We never have to lose touch of what we're all doing to inspire each other. Okay, bye.